So, welcome to my YouTube channel. Once again, hit the like and subscribe button. And don't forget to stay connected and be in touch with what's going on in the latest in videos. Hit those alert buttons. Hit the alert button. It's where the little bell is. Once you hit that, as soon as I post a video, you'll be notified. So, it's December 31st, 2018. And tonight at 10 p.m. So tonight, what I'd like to do is I'd like to reflect on how 2018 has been for me so far. And there's about 2 hours left before we're in a new year, and I figured now would be the best time to do that. 2018 has been an amazing year, filled with so many challenges, so many joys, so many hurt and pain. I think the most exciting thing about it was self-inflicted. Um, and I made it through, and I'm still here. Uh, I lost my father in 2011, February 19th. And once I had lost my father, it had really hit me. He was 61 years old. It had really hit me hard at home. I loved him very much. He was my rock. Whenever I had a tough time in my life, I'd give him a call and I would just start communicating with him. And, he'd always have a few words to say about specific things besides a long conversation that we would have about many things. And those few words he would say about specific things he would just sort itself out. I would understand what he's saying and I would work on my weaknesses, or I'd understand what he's saying and I'd be uplifted and I'd take things to the next level. Once I had lost him, I lost a lot. And it took me many years to shape myself up again. I was a smoker. I smoked a pack and a half cigarettes a day. I had done this for many years. And, after I lost him, I said, you know what? He was so young when he died. I knew that I could feel it, that life was very short. If there was one thing I knew about my father, he wanted me to live a good life. He wanted me to be happy. And I had to make a decision. So I decided that I was going to change my life completely around. I was going to do a full 360. And, I first had to deal with the pain and the sorrow and the hurt of losing him. And then I had to go into the next phase of my life, which is accepting that he is gone and that now it's time for me to live up to his expectations. And I think the only thing he really expected of me was for me to be happy and live a fulfilled life. So I decided the first thing I would go after would be the quit smoking cigarettes. That was a 5-year process, and it was a very tough process, but I eventually quit. It's going February 28, 2019 will make 4 years since I have quit smoking cigarettes, and I'm a better person for it. So since I became a non-smoker, it took some time to get my cardio back, my physicality back, and a lot of things that would allow me to compete competitively back to normal again. My blood flow, my heart rate, my acceleration, my deceleration, just the amount of my max performance. These were things that were completely thrown out of loop by the nicotine and by inhaling smoke. So I'd gotten that under control. This was my 3rd year that I was in. I knew this was the year to make an attack. Now, a friend of mine at Gen Studios had mentioned to me that she was a big fan of doing Spartans, and she just basically introduced it to me. She said, you know what? I'm going to be doing Spartans this year, and if you're interested, you can join in. I jumped on it. I jumped on it very quick. Distance was something that it was always tough for me. I always enjoyed sprinting. I was a sprinter as a kid. I always did the relays. I had a very successful relay team as a youngin' coming out of middle school, and it was one of my passions that I had left behind. Obviously, when you're smoking cigarettes and that's what you want to do, you're going to pass up on certain things, and track and field was one of the things I passed up on. So she had mentioned to me this, and I said, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity. So I jumped on it, and we decided that we were going to go on a mission to get a trifecta. Now, I had no idea this mission to get the trifecta would start to escalate and transcend into all these other things. So we ended up going after the trifecta. We ended up doing the Mud Hero, the Army Run, and I ended up joining the track club. And we're also doing trail running in the mountains and such and so on, such and so on. So, sticking to the subject for the Spartans, we decided to go for a trifecta, which is 3 Spartans: a super, a sprint, and a beast, or a sprint, a beast, and a super, or a beast, a super, and a sprint. So none of them are in that order. For me, myself, the first Spartan that I had done was a super. And I'll be honest with you, it was brutal. I trained from November all the way until May, which is when I did the first one. So when was it in May?
25th.
The 25th. So I trained from November to May 25th, and during that time I was doing I think 12 kilometers every second day, every third day, and it was tough. I was training in the gym, but I wasn't training with doing the right regiment. I wasn't fully preparing myself for what I was about to experience on the mountains. And then I decided, okay, I feel like I'm ready. I'm running up a few little slopes here and there. I think I can do this. And then I did an 8.5 kilometer mountain trail up a mountain, which wasn't the toughest of them, but it was definitely something that I felt would have given me a bit more of an edge. So preparing myself in that manner, I thought I was ready to go. And then I took it to the mountains. We went to Montreal, which was our first stop, Owl's Head, and we were starting in the morning. I believe it was 8 o'clock we were going to start. That's when the elites started, and I joined. I was actually going to go as a regular contestant, and then someone had mentioned to me, well, why don't you try going elite? You'll be one of the first on the course, and you'll be able to push it to your maximum. And I said, well, you know what? Let's see if I can do that. So I went back into the Spartan, changed over all my stats and all 3 courses to elite, and paid a little bit extra, and I was okay with that. So we went to do the super, and I was pumped, like super pumped and super hyped and ready to go, and there was no holding back. And I had no idea what I was getting into. I had no idea the pain and gain involved in this. I just knew that I was training my butt off, and that I was going to find out what I had accomplished through my training, and what I would be able to accomplish with that training once I attacked that mountain. And we saw the mountain from the highway driving in, and when we saw the mountain from the highway driving in, we knew we were in for it. I had also ran into a friend. A friend of mine had also told me, hey, listen, this mountain's going to be very tough. Prepare yourself. So, in knowing that a friend of mine is even telling me, prepare yourself, it's going to be tough, that's kind of a heads up, especially if they've already been on the mountain, that you're going to get your butt kicked. So I was prepared for a butt whooping. I was not surprised about the fact that there would be a butt whooping involved in this. I had no idea the degree and the level of pain and gain that would be involved in this. So here we are. We're at the Spartan, my first Spartan ever. I'm nervous as shit. I'm trying to keep my shit together. I'm doing whatever warm-ups I can come up with, which is like mostly for sprinting and for distance running. And I'm just doing my warm-ups, lubing up and all that other stuff. And I'm nervous, and I'm wondering what's going to happen. And then, time starts to collapse on itself, and we start getting ready to head out. So we get to the start line. And I'm just waiting to hear the speech, waiting to hear what's going to happen, and I'm prepared to get on this mountain. And as I start preparing to get on this mountain, boom, the announcer does his speech, riles up the crowd of Spartan elites, and then tells them to get on out there in 3, 2, 1, go. And I'm running behind all these guys, or in the middle, and in the pack of these elites, running with them. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's coming my way. All I know is I just need to survive. I believe I had an idea that the distance would have been around 14 kilometers, but I had no idea the distance would have been so strenuous, and I had no idea running up and down a mountain would have been so painful. So I ran it. I'm running it. I'm going. I'm climbing. I'm heading up. Within the first hour and a half, I started cramping. My inner thigh just started spasming. My muscles just started convulsing. And I started rubbing at it, going at it, and it started easing it away a little bit. I decided, like, this is me climbing under barbed wire when this starts to happen, and I still have to throw the spear in the haystack. So I finally finished that part of it. I'm in an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes. We go to throw the spear. I finally throw the spear for the first time, and I miss I get my target, but the spear tip touches the ground. One of the refs looks over at me and says, "It touched the ground, you'll have to do 30 burpees." And I'm thinking to myself, well, 30 burpees? I never practiced, I never trained to do them. 30 burpees is not the biggest deal. I'm going to do my 30 burpees. 15 burpees in, I knew this was going to be a different match for me. I knew things were going to be absolutely insane from this point on. I was finally able to finish my 30 burpees, and then I jogged off. I was in absolute pain. I was tired. My body was weary. I was weak. I had pushed way too hard to start off the match, keeping up with the other elites, and I was running out of juice. And I mean, like, this was only an hour and a half in. I think at that point, I believe I've only done about maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 kilometers if I was lucky. And I'm finishing my 30 burpees, and I'm running, and I'm looking up this mountain going, all right, I'm in it now. Like, there's no turning back. I got to keep going. So I start pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and fighting and fighting and fighting, climbing up this mountain. My legs are filled with lactic acid. I'm having a hard time bending my knees without my legs, without my quads spasming out. I'm sore. I'm tired. I'm using I have a little bit of electrolytes. I have BCAAs. My electrolytes was already used up. I have no salts, nothing, no mustard, no tricks, nothing to carry me through except my will to survive this course. And after an hour and a half in of spasming, I finished that course in just over 4 hours and 30 minutes. And I was in total agony. It was like almost like a toddler when they first learn how to walk and then they try to run. That was me running to the finish line. When I jumped over that fire, I used every bit of energy I had left to jump over that fire. And it was the most painful leap I have ever done in my life, knowing that I was at the finish line and that I needed to do something spectacular to cross that fire. And I did it. When I received my medal, I was in absolute pain. I did not care about the medal. I wasn't interested in the fact that I got the medal. The only thing on my mind was, I'm finished. I'm done. I do not have to continue going like that anymore. It was one of the most brutal and the most painful, excruciating feelings I've ever experienced in my entire life. It was the toughest thing I had ever done. Sitting here telling you this after doing it now, after doing the sprint, after doing the beast now, would I do it again? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'd do it again. So that was my first experience with the Spartan.